Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Pharmacy Seeds Network YouTube channel. Tonight is Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night we do our live stream, the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net, hosted over amateur radio and streamed live to you on the Pharmacy Seeds Network YouTube channel. Without further ado, it is 9:31. I'm running a little behind schedule, but we're going to start it right up. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. The Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net is sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club, located in beautiful Ulster County, New York. And if you want to know more about our club and this repeater, please check out our website at www.omartclub.org. That's whiskey, Oscar Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie Lima Uniform Bravo, Oscar Romeo Golf. That said, let's go ahead and get started with Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any check-ins, please call now. Hey guys. Thank you, Homesteading the Hard Way.
Here's K2BHM.
The net recognizes K2BHM. How are you tonight, Jim?
I'm doing good. Hanging around and so forth. You seem to be really down on the noise tonight.
Give me a sec then. Alright, is this any better?
A little better, but I noticed that my previous nets when I've been listening, other guys are way up there and you're way down. Like you have to crank the volume control all the way up to hear you and then crank it back down to hear them.
Oh, I'm all too familiar with that. There are some people with some real low signals and some people with some way overly loud signals. I go back and forth between straining to hear one person and then getting my eardrums blown out by another. We did put a hotter mic in this radio actually probably 2 or 3 years ago, but I guess it's still not enough. And unfortunately this radio is kind of old, so no mic gain.
Yeah, okay. And it's FM, so it's not really related to power or anything like that.
It's
you got enough to hit the repeater,
it's
so
modulation.
it's whatever the deviation is.
Yeah, it's just low modulation into the transceiver or transmitter side. Not much you can do about it except turn it up. I'll have to see if maybe I can get a hotter electric mic for it. I don't even remember what we put in this. I'll have to ask Dave. Maybe he'll remember.
Yeah, I'm leaving a pause for anybody to break in if they want to. It's
Thanks, Geeky.
kind of hard. It's all the radios are different and so forth and whatever, but I do have the Cushman here that I can go and give deviation reports on, and Bob QAK. He's up about 4.5K, 5K is the max, and everybody else is like 3 to 4, and you seem to be well below that.
Okay, well that makes sense, and yeah, KD2QAK, he's one of the ones that blows my eardrums every time he comes on. It's like having somebody burst through the door and scream at you all of a sudden. Well, it is what it is. Well, thank you for the audio report, and I apologize that my audio isn't stronger. Let's see if there's any further check-ins for the net. This is KD2IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. Might be a slow night tonight. It is vacation time, I suppose. Doesn't look like it, so what's going on with you, Jim?
I don't know how farmers and gardeners it is, but we had a nice steak for dinner tonight with fresh mushrooms that a friend of mine got that we sauteed up. They were harvested locally from someplace, I don't know, but some friend of hers took her around, and they're very woodsy and was very good, and we didn't get sick.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, as long as you know how to identify them, you should be okay. Well, that's fantastic. And now, the steak, was that a grass-fed steak?
No, that's my cousin. My cousin, he does grass-fed, organic, and stuff like that. And when we get stuff from him, yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Entirely different nutrient profile, entirely different omega-3, 6, 9 fatty acid profile. Much better health-wise. But yeah, also much better flavor. A good grass-fed steak is excellent. Although I have to say I've had grass-fed steak that wasn't good, and I gotta wonder if they weren't finishing correctly or they didn't have nutritional profiles right. Because most of the ones I've had are really, really good. Like, they blow away a grain-fed steak. So I was just curious. Well, that sounds like a nice meal. There goes the mic.
Yeah, okay, she says they were oyster mushrooms.
Oysters.
And as far as my cousin's cows are concerned, he supplements them with grains from Brown's Brewing up in Troy.
That's different.
They extract what they need for brewing out of the grains, and then what's left over still has the unfermentables that they didn't want or didn't need. And he takes that home, gives it to the cows, and they absolutely love it. And yeah, it works good for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's different than just feeding whole grains or ground grains like they usually do. That's like a fermented kind of thing. That's a good probiotic. That I imagine has a much different nutrient profile than just a regular grain that hasn't been cracked, soaked, and had some sort of fermentation process. Just so you know, you got a little bit of scratch on your mic there, like maybe you got a loose connection or maybe a loose connection on your antenna.
Okay, I'm on mute. Yep, battery connection, battery level is up. It could be the television in the background interfering.
I don't think so. There was a scratch there in the beginning of your signal that seemed to be pretty clean. Really sounds more like an antenna connection, I think. So I don't know. Are you on a portable there?
Yeah, I'm on a handheld. Let me bump up to high power, see if that makes a difference.
It doesn't. Well, it doesn't hurt the cows, but it doesn't help their health. We'll talk about that, Chris.
Does it sound any better? KQBHM?
No, you're full DFQ when the issue isn't there, but when the issue's there, you're completely scratched out by it, which leads me to think it's more antenna than microphone. So maybe you just got a loose connection or a cold solder joint or something like that. But you're solid now, so I don't know. Strange. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I've got a 5/8 rubber ducky off the top, and it's always done fine before. I don't know, maybe the radio's going soft or something.
Yeah, the little radio sounds pretty solid, but my guess is maybe the antenna's got a little bit of a loose connection there, or is developing one and it hasn't really shown through all the way yet. But anyway, just thought I'd make you aware of the issue. Let's just stop and see if there's any further check-ins. This is KV2 and Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. check-ins recognized at this time. Back to you, Jim. We'll talk about it. Homesteading.
Okay.
We got a lot to talk about, I think.
Check around here, try the antenna and see if it makes.
Okay, that was breaking the connection there again. So yeah, try that other antenna and see if that improves the signal.
Yeah, you got to check around and see what's available here.
All right, very good. This is KD2 and control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. If there are any further check-ins, please call now. Yep, we're in the midsummer doldrums dead zone again. Everybody goes away on vacation and it just drops dead. So how's everybody else in the live stream tonight? Since we're doing antenna issues and such. Yeah, I don't take vacations either, homesteading the hard way. I don't have the money, one, and two, I don't have the time, and three, who would take care of the farm while I'm gone? Answer, nobody. I could get somebody to watch it.
K2IIN, K2BHM.
Not the same.
This one any better?
Well, that seems solid so far. Let's see how that holds out.
Yeah, okay. It's not as good of an antenna, but it's still the same power level.
All right. Yeah, I'm not hearing the scratch now, so whatever connection issue was there appears to be fixed. But you know how those loose connections can be; they can disappear and then come back on you at will. Well, that's a nice small crowd homesteading. Okay, good enough. I'll have to get this, what was it, StreamYard thing straightened out with my camera.
This one seem any better?
There it is again. And then we'll have to hash out this grain-fed, grass-fed thing. I'd love to have like an actual open conversation about that, Chris. I think we have two very different perspectives, but I'd love to see how we can weld that together. That had a little bit of scratch in it, so is that the same antenna you were on initially?
I don't think so, but let me try another one.
I know you do homesteading. I'm gonna have to dig up some educational stuff for you to watch. I don't know when you'll have time to watch it, but it's well worth checking out. Alright, and while we wait, this is KD2IIN Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. For any further check-ins, please call now. I'm talking a little too fast. I have one of those days where I just feel like I just can't get enough done fast enough. No further check-ins recognized this time. We're standing by for K2BHM.
This one sounds any better. Same type of antenna that I've been using, but
No, that one actually cut out at the end of your transmission there. So, I don't know, maybe there's a loose connection in the radio. No, this isn't state college
yeah,
stuff,
okay.
homesteading. You can't trust those institutions.
Hang on a second, let me try something else.
I mean, they have some good information, but you can't... Yeah, that's true, Kiki. But you can't necessarily trust them universally. Anything government funded you can't trust universally because... well, this is a deep rabbit hole to jump into, but there's people that are doing it grass-fed, and they're making more money doing it, and they're producing better beef faster with healthier cows. Also, when you combine that with the right foliar feeds for your forages, you can actually, like if you're doing milking cows, you can increase your milk production in 24 to 48 hours after a foliar feed. You can go from 4% to 8% fat content. So there's some really interesting stuff if you get grass-fed right.
K2IIN, K2BHM. How's this one sound?
Seems okay so far. Musical antennas here.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what this does. This is a different HD.
Alright, well let's try that out then. So your cousin does grass-fed beef. How many cows does he do, and how big a plot is he doing?
Yeah, okay. Good question. It varies. I think he's down to like 6 cows now, but he was up to as many as 21, 22 cows or something like that.
There you go.
And he used to specialize in Murray Gray's beef cattle.
Okay, I'm not familiar with those. Interesting. Well, 6 cows isn't anything to sneeze at. That's quite a bit of beef at the end of the season.
Yeah, he's retired now, so he's kind of slowing down.
Gotcha. Just kind of making some extra cash on the side rather than full-time. Was he full-time farming like that before?
No, he was full-time IT for the state.
Of course.
This was a part-time hobby.
Because there's no money in farming, right? Alright, well, that kind of figures.
Yeah, talk about burning the candle at both ends.
Boy, I could make an off-color joke in that, but I think I'll just pass on it.
Yeah, you might want to. Do we have any feeds to Facebook? It could get nasty.
No, we're only live streamed on YouTube. If I never sign into Facebook again, I don't think it would bother me one bit. Several hundred, okay.
Well, I have to go there kind of because of family and friends and stuff like that. That's their only means of communications. I'm kind of sorry, and it's kind of pathetic, but that's where they are, and if you want to talk to me, you have to go there. And, yeah, okay. Never mind.
No, I'm right there with you. If that's the only place and only way I can talk to you, maybe we just won't talk. Which is sad, because some of those people, I value our relationship, but if they're so addicted to Facebook that we can't have a normal conversation, or they can't even put the phone down long enough to have a conversation, I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, well, it boils down to the younger kids. That's their mode of communication. So
Yeah,
if you want to
that's
see
true.
pictures of the birthday parties and picnics and stuff like that and so forth, and we got invited to a birthday party only through Facebook and so forth. So if you want to keep in touch with the family, that's where it's at. And if you're not there, you're a square.
Yep, that's true. I don't know. Our world is changing at a rapid pace in many ways, not just technologically, but the technology side of it has some excellent benefits, but man, it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah, tell me about it. 1,000 TV channels to fill with stuff 24/7, 365.
Garbage.
Garbage. Yeah. The bottom of the barrel doesn't begin to describe what they put out there.
Yeah, it's. I think those 1,000 channels come straight out of the New York City sewer system.
Oh, you're too kind.
Okay, well, I guess we've knocked on Facebook and infrastructure enough. Let's get back to the grass-fed beef or something. And nothing. Still
Yeah,
nothing
okay.
to watch, right?
They actually really love the chocolate malts and the more toasted malts and so forth. They will actually get pissed off if he doesn't feed them enough.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, they also go for anything rich in molasses. They seem to like that sweet component in there. And oh man, I've made some chocolate malt beers before, like home brews, and that stuff just smells so good.
Oh yeah, my favorite was a recipe called Stump Lifter Stout. It had like 7 or 8 pounds of
Same here,
malt
thank you.
extract in it for a 5-pound or 5-gallon brew. Oh my God, that stuff was intense.
Oh wow, so sounds killer. Yeah, I used to get a porter kit, porter brew kit from the brew shop, and that had a lot of that chocolate malt in it. And man, when you brewed that up, boy, wow, it just made you want to go out and munch on a giant chocolate bar.
So you know Bruce and oh my God, I'm having Party Creations over there off of
Yeah, nothing worth watching.
9G.
Right. Yeah, they actually sold the business to another guy who set the shop up in the middle of town where the bookstore used to be in Red Hook here. And I understand he went out of business about 6 months ago, which I have to say I'm sadly not surprised. I liked the guy. I went in and met the guy. I think I bought a couple of things from him for other projects that were like brewing type equipment. And but my thought was that rent there, boy, you got to sell an awful lot of brewing equipment to cover $3,000 a month or $1,500 a month or whatever they were getting for rent. I just didn't see how he was going to stick around. I think that's what happened. He couldn't hold the rent down.
Yeah. It's Bruce and Gloria.
Yes.
They were doing it out of their house, low overhead, and
Yes.
that kind of worked.
Yes.
Did I get the names right?
Spot on, spot on. Yeah, Bruce and Gloria Franconi. Both excellent, very nice people. Super knowledgeable about brewing. I never went in there to buy something where I didn't end up standing and talking to Gloria or Bruce for a good 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, ditto. They were just a fountain of knowledge and so forth, and they were so fun to talk to, and so much energy and so forth. That's really hard to duplicate.
It really is. It really is. But they had the right model for it, keeping the low overhead with the the business on the house property there. I was really afraid that guy wasn't going to be able to hold it, and I guess I assume that's what happened. I mean, I don't see how you could make that much money to cover that rent selling brew equipment when you're competing with Amazon and Google and all these other massive business models. Sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Unfortunately, I'm experiencing that lately. Going out shopping around, going to the hardware stores, and trying to deal with the small business people and so forth and buy stuff. They just don't have the inventory anymore, and what they do have is so ridiculously overpriced.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, you try and support the local people, but
there's a point where you just can't dump your whole
ain't
wallet.
there anymore.
This is KD2 that controls Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Yeah, it's sad, and I think it's going to be. I think we're going to be really sorry in another 10 or 20 years when all the small businesses can't compete anymore and close up, and then we have no choice but these monster conglomerates, and they just don't seem to really. I don't know. You know, it's hard to look at that model and see that as a good thing in general. It's hard to turn around and, like you say, you know, like if I can get it online for $15 and it costs me $30 at a local business, can I really afford to spend double the money for the same item? I can't, you know. I'm on a tight budget as it is. It's frustrating. I try to support local businesses as much as I can too. I have to say though, I have found the reverse true as well, where, like, you know, I looked on Amazon at something and I looked at a local business and I was able to get it for half the price at the local business. So some things it works, but it's tough for them to compete with that. You know, especially like the online thing, the Amazon thing. You know, you don't even have to get in the car and go anywhere. It's going to show up on your doorstep in a day. It's like, that's hard to beat.
Yeah, well, when I was putting in a water heater at the house here back 5 years ago, I was looking for certain specific fittings that I wanted to do the job. And I spent all day going around to different hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, the whole nine works and so forth, and couldn't find what I wanted. And went online, and there's a place down in Long Island, it was called Peck Supply, and that was Supply Warehouse.
Yeah.
The stuff was there, it was cheap. I put the order in at 4 o'clock one night, and the stuff was delivered at the doorstep UPS 5 o'clock the next night.
Yeah.
And how can you deal with that?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I don't know how you stay open as a small business against that. You got to have a really loyal customer base. You still got to be able to be competitive, and you got to have stuff that other people don't have and need right now, which kind of limits what your business model can be based on. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's your neck of the woods, but Williams Lumber over in Rhinebeck, they were fantastic. You could go there and you could find stuff that was off the wall and whatever, and you needed it, they had it, and so forth. And then they had that catastrophe where the snow load collapsed the roof, and they rebuilt after that, and they haven't been the same since.
Well, you know, it was a long time for them to recover from that collapse. I do remember that, and I actually still go to Williams quite a bit. I think they've gotten it back together pretty well down there. I haven't been disappointed when I've been down there recently. It's a little tricky to find things because they've completely rearranged the store, and I was pretty used to where they had things before. But I found that they've rebuilt pretty well. I think they've done a pretty good job of it. One of the guys on the live stream here said service after sale still means something to some people, and he does have a point there. It's nice to be able to go back and you know, get something serviced, or to be able to ask a question that, like, if you ask that online, you'll get some vague answer or some, you know, blog thing. But when you can go back and talk to somebody and ask them specifically a question, and they have enough experience to address it, that does help. Hi, Robin.
I went down to medium power. Does that make any difference in the signal?
Not at all, and you've been solid since you switched to that other radio. So I think maybe you got a loose antenna jack on that other radio.
That could be. They're malfunctioned, so they're disposable, but whatever. Yeah. No. I liked dealing with Williams because you got somebody who knew what they were talking about when we were doing a project with the garage, putting the brick stonework siding on. The guy there was previously a contractor, and he knew what I was talking about. You could talk to him and deal with him and so forth and whatever. But basically, I went over there for the steel molding to go around the garage door. They don't have it. You have to special order it.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if that has changed from before. I think some moldings they had to special order anyway. But, you know, still, it's nice to be able to go down and get lumber. I have to say, I've, like, gone for cheaper lumber on projects before and ended up going to Lowe's or Home Depot, and man, the lumber quality is never the same there as it is at Williams. I don't know, you know, what they're doing to get better lumber, maybe just because they've been in business and have a good rapport with the lumber companies, but their lumber always seems to be straighter and cleaner and less knotty. So there is a, you know, a quality advantage from going there, at least in my experience in the past. I haven't bought lumber there in probably a year or two, so it may have changed, but last I was there it was pretty solid. Let's see, this is K2IIN, Net Control for Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. We'll do one last opportunity for check-ins here before we close the net. So if there's any further check-ins, please call them now. All right, no further check-ins recognized. Back to you, Jim.
Yeah, definitely. No, the lumber from Lowe's and Home Depot is crap.
Okay, your signal cut out again there, so maybe you do have some sort of antenna issue. Anyway, yeah, I agree. Much better lumber from Williams than anything I've seen at Lowe's or Home Depot. You're always picking through warped boards with knots and the splits, and you know, to find 10 good 2x4s takes you a pallet of garbage. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close the net here, Jim, because I got some people in the live stream and got some other discussion going on there. So I'm going to go finish up the last half of the garden net here on the stream. And, I got more chores to do out there now that it's not raining. Anyway, I appreciate you participating in the net and supporting it, and I hope you can get your radio issue straightened out. Maybe when I get done with the stream, if you're still around, I could give you another listen.
Did I drop out on that last one or something?
Yeah, scratched for a second and then dropped completely.
Okay.
The sugar word?
Maybe it's something interference-wise.
I don't think so. It really sounds like a connection, antenna connection issue to me. But I don't know. Maybe take a look at your antennas or radios and see if you can find anything loose there.
No, this is different antenna, different radio, so I don't know. Maybe it's conditions or interference or something.
I suppose it could be. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close the net here. So this is KD2IIN, Net Control for the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. This has been a session with the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net. Usually there are more participants and more gardening, farming related discussion. I guess people are on vacation, that sort of thing. Let's see, other nets on this repeater, Thursday nights at 8 p.m. We have the Rag Chew Net, which is run by Dave, K2JLV. That is every Thursday night except the third Thursday of the night, which is when we have our club meetings. You can find out more about our club meetings and our nets and other information about our club on our website at www.omarclub.org. That's whiskey.oscar-mike-alpha-romeo-charlie-charlie-lima-uniform-bravo.oscar-romeo-golf. Thanks to Jim for participating tonight, much appreciated, and it was good discussion. And let's see, I think that's all. This repeater is back under regular amateur use and the net is closed. This has been a session of the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners Net, sponsored by the Overlook Mountain Amateur Radio Club. This is KD2I, saying 7-3. And we roll out on the ID. Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know why, CJ, but last week the meeting was called off. We didn't have access to the space.
Oh,
I don't know why or what happened or whatever, and I haven't heard anything about a replacement meeting, so I'm kind of in the dark.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either. I think they're still trying to sort it out. But I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll find a new location and things will carry on. You know, transition can be rocky sometimes, but usually it comes out with a better result once things stabilize.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not sure what's going on, but
yeah,
I know the guys will figure it out and come up with something.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. All right, I'm going to roll off to the live stream here, Jim. Have a good evening, and maybe I'll check back and look into your antenna issue a little later on. Anyway, I gotta jump out for now. So 7-3s, K2 BHM, K2 I will be clear.
Yeah, let's run some checks here, see what the radios are putting out and stuff like that. I'll have to dig into it. Anyhow, thanks, and enjoy the QSO. K2BHM.
Okay, the radio part of the net is over. Now we can talk on the live stream. So let's see. Let me catch up on the chitter chatter, splitter splatter chitter chatter. Chris and I, we definitely have to do a co-live stream and discuss grass-fed beef versus grain-fed beef, and I'm sure that will open about 35 other topics. And let's see. Yeah, YouTube really does some weird stuff sometimes. Like why can't you say subscribe and chat? Hey, why don't you subscribe to my channel? Like, I mean, I get they're trying to discourage that, like, people just going out looking for connection for their channel, but at the same time, like, you know, if you're having a legitimate conversation, you know, you can't say the word subscribe, or you know, I subscribe to that idea. Like, you could say something totally has nothing to do with that, and they're gonna punish you for it. It's like, it's weird. Yeah, sticks and stones, Geeky Garden. They break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Yeah, no, it's probably not even a mod. It's just, if you say that word, well, it might be an overzealous mod in combination with that, but like YouTube punishes you for using that word apparently in chat, which is like weird. What about ending live streams? I'm not sure I understand your question, Chris. It was a mod, okay. Yeah, that's why I don't give lots of people wrenches, because you never know what they're gonna do. Well, so that was a pretty lame Farmers and Gardeners Net tonight, as far as like farming and gardening conversation goes. But at least we talked about grass-fed beef a little bit, so that was good. Ending Hangouts, but not the ability to live stream. You know, I haven't really used the Hangouts. I haven't, like, well, first of all, I don't really have time to hang out. But like that whole Hangout thing, I tried that with a friend of mine, and it just was, it was glitchy. I just found it frustrating, and like, you know, I didn't have a real use for it. I like that StreamYard or whatever the other night. If I could get my camera to work with it, that's kind of a cool way to do things. As YouTube is stopping them. Yeah. I can't see them stopping the live stream. When you look at like a Joe Rogan podcast with, 1 million views on the live stream. 1 million views. Like, how is that not part of the model, I guess, would be my question. We really need competitive platforms for YouTube, but unfortunately it takes billions of dollars to even start the server farm that it takes to do that, and the content delivery network to back it. That infrastructure is expensive, at least right now. I'm sure it'll come down over time, but channel building lives. Yeah, I was jumping into a couple of those for a while, like just trying to get, more connections, talk to more people and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I found those really boring. It's like there's one, I'm not going to say the name of the channel, but there's growing too fast to pay creators, yeah. But they can insert ads into the lives. If they can do it on another video, they can do it in the live. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but there's a way to make that work. If it's just advertising money, there's a way to do that. You and I both know that, Geeky. Come on. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Get with the game. I don't know. What was I saying? Something else. I don't know. I'm a little scattered tonight. Feel a little overwhelmed. It's that time of year. There's more stuff to put in, there's weeding to do, there's mulching to do, there's feeding to do, there's harvest and market to do. And then there's regular life and another job and another job. They need to make us, they always want to make us accept stuff. Yeah, I know, I hear you, homesteading. I had to go with monetization because I can't keep dedicating as much time and energy as I do to this and not have some kind of, even if it's what is it, $16 a month right now. It's not much, but it's something to where breathe. I'm trying, Robin. I'm trying. I keep smoking myself out of breathing. Not really, but yeah, I have to stop and and center. Which I'm planning to do after the live stream. I'm going to go out and spend some time around the farm and plants, and that always winds me down a little bit and grounds me. But I had to do something for extra income. If not, I might as well quit the farm, go get some crappy job that I hate, and work for 30 years till I die. I can't do that. But I'm still struggling to figure out how to make more income, good income. I don't know, it's frustrating because I have a lot of knowledge and talents and skills, and I'm having trouble applying them for financial gain. I love helping people, that's the thing. I love helping people. I love teaching people. If I could somehow get some kind of money for teaching, that would be great. And that was part of what the YouTube channel was aimed at initially, and still is. Obviously, I'm trying to figure out how to do that better. Proudly brought to you by Bragging Rights Charters and Country View Western. Nice. No, I hear you, Geeky. I know. Well, you're in a different position financially than I am. You haven't spent the last 21 or 22 years being stifled. No grain silo. All we have is a silo foundation. That's where that ram pump reservoir pool is. That's the only spot that was already level on the property, so I didn't have to level ground to put it in. I am actually in discussion with another farm who's looking for someone who's more experienced with farming to partner on their land. So I'm exploring that option because I don't know what's going to happen with this land here. if they sell it, I don't know if they'll sell it for a reasonable price or if I'll be able to buy it. A lot of stuff moving under my feet, I guess we'll say. Teaching's fun, Geeky. I love teaching, and I've had people tell me that I'm a good teacher. You know, I mean, I think I am, but not to be arrogant about it. But I've had people tell me that I'm good at it. I don't even mean extra money. I just mean, like, you know, to make a living where I could actually, like, rent a place that I could afford or something like that. Like, it's just, I mean, I've been struggling for, you know, since I turned 18, basically. Part of that was some bad life decisions. But part of that's living in New York, 90 miles from New York City. The price of everything is way more expensive, and unless you go down and commute 2 hours south to go work in the city, it's hard to afford anything here. Even rental apartment-wise, forget about buying a house. Like, you literally have to work in New York City to be able to afford a house here. The real estate prices just keep going up and up and up, and I'm like, I grew up here, but I can't afford to live here? That's so weird. Wound up hiring 3 of your ex-students. Being broke should be an Olympic event. I'm game homesteading. I'd love a gold medal. Be the first time I made money being broke. Well, you gotta have a sense of humor about it all anyway, you know? But it's frustrating. Your students were idiots? Well, that doesn't help them learn, does it? Stick the landing. Nice terminology. Main course of popcorn from time to time. I started out with nothing and still have most of it. Yeah, that's me too. I'd say I have 99.999999% of nothing. That's funny. That goes right along with you'll never turn a field over by plowing it, or never. How's that go, Chris? You'll never plow a field by turning it over in your mind. That's what it is. Yeah, I like that, Chris. That's a good one. Started out 30 years ago with nothing, still have most of it. Brilliant, I say, brilliant. Well, so going forward, I'm hoping to do like a podcast kind of thing, interview people that are more into organic farming, regenerative farming, that kind of thing. Not interview necessarily, but like have a conversation. Sort of like the Joe Rogan podcast, but more farming oriented. I've heard some really excellent discussions on there, and like I have like an IT job that I do in the daytime, and I really enjoy listening to that stuff in the background when I'm doing that. It was Daddy's, you can use it. Yeah, you know, Robin, I'm not complaining, you know. I mean, I have enough to eat. I have a roof over my head. I don't have health issues. I don't have disabilities. Like, really, in the scheme of things, I'm fortunate, grateful, and thankful for what I have. But after struggling for so long, I'd like to somehow make some ground. And I feel like I never make any ground. And yet, I look back at what I'm doing, and I look back at stuff I was doing years back. I go back and watch an old video, and I'm like, okay, I'm making progress. I'm doing good. But there are days like today where I just feel like I'm trying to walk through molasses, and you know, you just like you can't even lift your foot up and move it forward. Like you're on a treadmill, but the treadmill's going twice as fast as you're walking. But you know, what can you do? Like, keep trying. get up and do it again tomorrow and keep going. Yeah, like, you know, like I'd like to be able to go out. I probably wouldn't even go to a movie, but I'd like to be able to afford to go out to a movie if I wanted to. And right now, I can't. Like, I'd like to be able to go out to dinner, like, maybe once a month or something. I can't afford to do that. That's, like, you know, I look around at people that do that all the time, and I'm like, how do they do that? And then I'll drive by a bar, and I'm like, those same people are at that bar every single night. What are they doing for a living that they can go out and spend $100 on drinks every night at a bar? Like, if I had that much disposable income, man, can you imagine what my farming operation would look like? It'd be crazy. Thanks, Kiki. Thanks, Robin. I I appreciate your words of encouragement. I mean, I'm not going to quit. Like, it's either keep doing what I'm doing or go get some job I hate and be miserable. And I'm just not going to do that. Well, no, I know, Kiki, and I laugh about that too, because you're right. Those things aren't, you know, like I don't really care about going out to dinner. I have no desire to go to a bar and hang out. That seems like the most boring thing to me now. I did that when I was younger. It was fun to go out and party, but nothing beneficial ever came out of it. I never felt great the next day. I was always sorry that I spent all the money in my wallet on drinks and dumb stuff. So I don't, you know, whatever. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I just feel like I'd like to make a little more money and be a little more comfortable and not be like, oh, insurance payment is due tomorrow. How am I going to pay that? I guess I'll have to go borrow money from somebody so I can pay it, so I can pay them back next week. That's the cycle I'm sick of. So, you know. Yeah, that's true homesteading. That was, that always seems to be an issue, and it seems like the more money the people have, the longer it takes to collect, which I'm like, they have it. Like, they just spent that last night on drinks or dinner, and yet they can never seem to like, oh, here you go. It's always like, oh, you know, in 2 weeks, and then here's a check, and then that won't clear for 2 weeks, and then it's like, come on. You got it, you just refuse to pay it. That's annoying. Money's never an issue till you don't have any. Yeah, I'd like to have 2 dimes to rub together. That would be cool. Like, I just like to know what 2 dimes sound like rubbing together. It's not that bad, but I mean, you know. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a negative stream here. I just sharing some frustrations, and I appreciate you guys relating and being supportive. Yeah, the better off they seem, the longer it takes. Right. Yeah, and it's just, I can't understand, like, is that how they got to be that successful financially? Is it just by not paying people for long periods of time? Like if I didn't pay somebody for something for a long period of time, what would I make on that? Like, you know, like 3 cents interest? Like, that wouldn't make me rich. So I'm like, how did they do that times 10,000 people, and then that's $1 million, and then they're clicking, you know, $100 a day in interest maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I wonder, it's like, they got the money, why can't they just pay the bill? You know, I get it if you don't have it. I live that all the time. I get that, and I'm understanding. And maybe that's part of my problem too. Maybe I'm too understanding. And I've had people say, well, you know, just don't work for them anymore. It's like, well, you can't just not work for everybody anymore. Then you don't have any work to do. So you kind of got to put up with it, right? And that's frustrating. They're just not paying the bills, right? I know. Yeah, no, I'm blessed too, homesteading the hard way. Even though I didn't pick a great partner for life. My kids are doing okay. My daughter has a baby on the way, and she's getting married, and she's happy with the guy she's with, and he's a good guy, and he cares for her. You know, I mean, I have my health, I have friends, I have family. I'm blessed. You know, I got it good. And you know, if I just step back for a minute and look at it, it's like, yeah, I don't live in a third world country. You know, I have a lot going for me, so it's good. Yeah, that's right, Geeky. Focus on the positive. Yeah, yeah. I know. And you know, like I go through days like this, and I just kind of like hopefully the same day. Sometimes it takes a day to turn it around, but you know, the next day I'll get up and be like, yeah, you know what? I have lots to be grateful for, and certainly nothing to really complain about. Just some days are harder than others, but whatever. Ain't going back. Right, yeah, it's stuff like that, homesteading, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's been like, you know, my big thing is like the car insurance, like, you know, like I have to pay that, and then like somebody tells me, you know, I'll give you a check next week. Well, okay, you know, car insurance payment is due 3 weeks away. But then it's like the next week it's like, oh, next week, and then the next week it's like, oh, next week, and then next thing you know, now you're at the expiration date. They still haven't paid you, or they pay you like the day before, so now you got to wait for the check to clear. So now you're, you know, come on. I've kicked myself in the pants a couple times already today, Robin. If I keep doing that, I'm gonna get a bruise, either on my butt or my mental ditch. I don't know which. No, it's all good. You know, things are growing well. It's been a good grow season this year. We've had good weather. I've got my foliar and my nutrients tuned a little better this year. I've learned a lot. I'm making some good videos. I finally broke 1,000 subscribers. Things are going good. I'm not complaining. I'm just had a rough, frustrating day mentally. Now, I don't even have any reason for that. I don't know, woke up feeling frustrated. It happens sometimes. Green Dream Project! What's going on? How are you guys tonight? I'm glad you stopped in. Is that a high 10? I'm game. Well, these guys are all giving me all kinds of positive words. How can I be frustrated after that? It's cheering me up already. So thank you all. And thanks, Green Dream. How you guys doing? How's your water collection? Are you filling up your tanks? Yeah, I'm honored Green Dream Project came in. That's awesome. I'm honored all of you came in, but Green Dream we don't see as much. I think those guys are even busier than we are, if any of us could imagine. Getting water as this is going down. Awesome! Yeah, I didn't realize you guys got such torrential rains this time of year. I've never lived in the desert or been there long enough to really understand that environment, so that's a cool environment. It is a better crowd, Geeky. It's a good crowd for sure. I'm really stoked about meeting all of you people. You guys have been great. I've really enjoyed our live streams, both here on my channel and on Homesteading's channel. And Green Dream Project, I'm so frustrated I missed you guys live stream the other night. It would have been cool to jump in on that. But I had about 25 irons in the fire at the time, so it didn't happen. I came in and found I missed it and was like, ah, darn. Yeah, how long did the rains last, GDP? Is it like a month of rains? It seems like you guys don't get like light rains either. It seems like you guys get like heavy, hard rains when you get them. So it's like that flash capture kind of thing, right? Yeah, on top of the RV. That was awesome. Rod T, hello. Hello from Australia. Well, thanks for joining. June to September, okay. So basically what is our summer months is your rain months. Okay. Yeah, glad to have you along, Rod T. How did you discover the Pharmacy Seeds Network, out of curiosity? And we should all say, "G'day, mate," back to him. I believe that's the appropriate greeting for Australian. Yeah, that one I saw in your video, Green Dream Project, was heavy. I guess I kind of assumed that, you know, if you're going to get rain in the desert, you're going to get slammed with it. Right? Because you got to build all that humidity and energy. It's got to come from somewhere. And as your rain must come from prevailing westerlies, right? Or is there some southerly component there? Or have I totally got that backward? Eyes and ears everywhere. Of course. I like it. You're a mysterious kind of person too, huh? A monsoon season in the winter. Okay. So with those tanks, if your rain collection goes well, do you ever need the water truck? Once you get that, you know, I know you had a few issues with plumbing operating a little slower than you'd like, but you know, once that's straightened out, can you basically run on rainwater and not have to have the water truck come? Because I know you had said in one of your videos you had the water truck coming. You were looking forward to like less of that or eliminating that. May need more storage. Okay. Yeah, I've been adding on to the ram pump storage here because we get this dry season usually. Well, usually the last 3, 4, 5 years we've had some weird weather, but we end up with a dry season, and that's like you need to be able to store a ton of water so you can irrigate in one shot when you need to. That's why I added that IBC tote, which is working out great. Why did Ozzy recognize someone's not having a good time? We asked them for 4 letters, same 4 letters. I'd like to ask you, are you okay? I'm good. I'm good. Are you okay? I like that. 4 letters. Okay, homesteading the hard way. Barning tobacco starts at 6. I'm going to have to ask you about that in your live stream Friday. So look forward to seeing you guys Friday. Thanks for joining. Have a great evening. Mountains to the northeast, and that's where most of the rains come from. Okay. You guys are in southern Arizona, right? Southern AZ. Okay. So I missed your live stream, so you guys are talking about building a house, right? There was some like time limitation restriction on there, or I guess you could get an extension. What are you guys looking to build, out of curiosity? High desert, is that what it is? For 2 years and can be extended to 3. Okay. Now, is that the start of construction or finish? Like, if you start it in 2 years or within the 2-year window, can you take another year to finish it so you can, do it how you want it? Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be somewhere near Flagstaff, right? A lot of digging videos in my future, yes. Earthbag Dome, awesome! Awesome! Yeah, I want to build something like that someday, but I gotta own land and be in a place where zoning doesn't lock it out. Unfortunately, around here, my area, zoning is just, man, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. I used to work for a land surveyor and civil engineer, and just to get simple stuff through zoning was just so hard. Oh, Flagstaff is northern part of the state, okay. Yeah, my friend John has actually been to northern Arizona, and he was saying it's a lot like New York climate-wise and terrain-wise, which I was surprised. I always picture Arizona being desert, but he was saying it's very mountainous and a lot of green to the north. Yeah, that's going to be an awesome project. Your house is turning into an earth bag. I can sympathize and relate, Robin. Speaking of that, Robin, how you doing? How are you feeling? Are you healing up from your, I think you fell last week or the week before, right? All good? Good. Good, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Earth Dome, yeah, that's exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to like another digging project at some point. I like the greenhouse project. When I built that, I started out with that whole in-ground furnace thing, and that worked well. And at some point, I'd like to do another one of those in a much more permanent setup. And that whole project wore me out pretty good. I did that in 30 days. I did that between October 9th and November 9th. That whole structure, subground to finished. And by the end of that 30 days, I was pretty worn out because I just worked, day and night. I'd work till I couldn't work anymore, and eat and go to sleep, and as soon as I got up, go right back to it again. Oh, thanks, GDP. But I'm looking forward to another project like that because it was a lot of fun and it was an awesome sense of accomplishment. I had people in my family telling me, "Oh, you'll never get that done before frost comes," and it was like I finished it on November 9th, and I think our first frost was like November 10th or 11th. It was like the next day, and then we got a snow. It was pretty cool. At the end of a hill, and all the water goes downhill. That's right. So you might have to put some water redirection dikes and trenches in, huh, Robin? Yeah, what did I see? Somebody from Colorado was saying that they're making all these laws in Colorado where you can't do rain catchment, which I thought was ridiculous. In the works. Oh, good. We always did that on a small scale for camping. If we were on a slope, we'd always trench out behind the tents so you wouldn't have a river running through your tent when you got a rainstorm, because waking up floating in your tent is not much fun. Yeah, they're already there. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, who owns the ring anyway? Right, nobody. Yeah, and I think it's about like tax collection and like municipality, you know, that whole kind of thing. It's frustrating to see that. And yet at the same time, in that state, it's, you know, legalized cannabis. So it's like, it's this weird, like, self-contradictory thing. They're green in one aspect, and another they're like, not. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, good point, Geeky. They can see my rain tanks, they're trespassing. Still though, they'll say it's under inspection, and then you know, the courts will back them up, and like, what happened to our sovereignty? International airspace. Well, and that's the other problem. Around here, I don't know about where you guys are, but around here they're doing aerial photography every year. Not just Google Earth, but county-wide, high detail, topographic aerial photography kind of stuff. So like, you know, you can put an addition on your house and then they're going to find you for it because they're going to see it. Florida has the same kind of quirk, so that doesn't surprise me. Florida's basically southern New York, right? Arkansas or southern Missouri? You're the second or third person I've heard say Arkansas. We got a ham who just moved here from Arkansas like a year ago. Real nice guy. I was asking him about Arkansas weather. He said it's kind of like this. It gets cold in the winter, but not as extreme and not as much snow. I don't really know much about Arkansas. I've driven through it, I think, once, but that's about it. Have to be more clever. Yeah. Yeah, well, what you do is you go to the top of your property and you dig a hole and you put your tanks in there and then you bury them under soil. And then you grow, you know, you seed it with grass and grow it back in green before they get the next aerial photography in. Right? We call that creative augmentation of operational capability. Well, one friend of mine calls that. If you were born in Michigan, Arkansas should be a cakewalk. Gotta be better than frying for 3 months out of the year, right, Geeky? Yeah, there you go. Stick sod on it. Stick sod on it and then plant permaculture plantings into it. And then when they ask what all the excavation was about, it's about the permaculture. Nah, I mean, we really just have to take our sovereignty back. Well, I don't know how we do that peacefully. And then we got, I don't like to get into politics on my channel, but we got like Democrats and Republicans fighting like children. And personally, I don't think any of them are really out to serve the people or their constituents. They're in the back pocket of big corporations, and so we really have no one but corporations representing corporations and no one representing us. I don't know, it's the next 20 or 30 years is going to be really interesting. Only took till you were 3? I was trying to convince my family for like 15 years to move south. No dice. Can't even get them to move from where they are to another place. I gave up. I finally gave up. Then they bring it up once in a while now, and I just, like, why are we having this conversation? You guys aren't going to move. Don't get my hopes up. You know, that's true, Green Dream Project. Permaculture is a revolution disguised as gardening. So true. I got some cool pictures in old photo albums of me playing in the snow with my little bulldozer and dump truck and front end loader. Yeah, I just grew up to play with bigger toys. I don't know the bulldozer or the dump truck yet, though. So what do you think, Green Dream Project? Should I move to Arizona, bring my tractor, and do it big out there? I promise I won't leave the homestead if I come out there. White Christmas, you go to the beach. Cabo Wabo, right, Geeky? Yeah, for real? Green Dream? Man, I could do with some Arizona sun. That would be awesome. I mean, it looks like some of those days are wicked, but older the boy, the bigger the toy. Yeah, let's see, how's that other one go? The only difference between men and boys is the size of their toys or the price of their toys. Lots of cheap land, that's what I hear. Actually, I have a friend that owns land out in Arizona. It was his dad's property. I have to ask him where that is again. I'm curious how far that is from you guys. He keeps telling me, he's like, you can go out there and like farm it, do whatever. I'm like, right, but farm in Arizona. Do you see the water problem here? I think it's southern Arizona actually. So I'll have to ask him. I forget exactly where it is. Daytona, world's most famous. Oh, a mile away. Wow, white beaches. Boy, I bet you burn fast out there, huh? Well, I have to say, Green Dream, it's crossed my mind a few times, especially some of the more frustrating days. I'm like, man, maybe I just sell everything I got and move to Arizona. Well, yeah, once you have water, growing is easy. That's true. And having water isn't that tricky. It's just the infrastructure cost, as I'm sure you guys are well aware, to get set up with good storage tanks and that kind of stuff. Skin cancer cured you of burning? Came back a French fry. Well, I tan really well. Once I get a base tan, man, I can take hours and hours and hours of sun. I don't wear any sunscreen or any of that stuff. I do use some coconut oil, like to help my skin take the sun, but that's it. Harvesting or a well. Yeah, I guess you could put a well, but I'll bet you got to drill deep there. How deep do you got to go for water there? It amazed me that they didn't have any mulch down in that orchard you showed us a while back. That those guys were just pissing water away like it was just... It was amazing that they don't... It's like they're watering in the daytime, they don't do anything to conserve water. It's crazy. 300 to 600 feet. Well, that's not a cheap well to drill. I think around here people are usually like, you know, between 70 and 150 feet, and it's easily 10 grand or more for the well. A 450-foot well. Wow. Wow. My parents, I think, is drilled to like 100, and they got water down at like 20 feet actually. Yeah, and there's no guarantees. That's right. You could drill to 600 and still not hit water. Or you hit water and it's fine for a year, and then that vein dries up, and now you're out of water with a $20,000 well bill. That's scary. And the rain harvesting makes more sense. That's better water. There's no carbonates or bicarbonates in it, so it's perfect for foliar feeds and irrigation and plant health and human health. 4 feet in the backyard and hit water, but it may be salty. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could probably fall over and fall in water down there, huh, Geeky? Diviners, yeah. I'd love to learn that skill. They go down 1,000 feet. My God, think how old that water is that they're pumping out of there. 1,000 feet. Good Lord. Good Lord, that's almost a quarter mile in the ground. Yeah, and they pump tens of thousands of gallons out too, don't they? Do they have any sinkholes around any of those orchards? Or do they ever run dry at 1,000 feet? Do they ever burn up a well? Oh, they do, okay. I'm sure. Well, the problem is, Geeky, if you're taking old water out of the ground at 1,000 feet down, and yeah, sinkholes they do, okay, and burning it up at that rate, it's not being replaced at that rate. Like, that water took thousands of years to accumulate, to even filter down through the soil and the bedrock and the sand and the clay and all those layers to get down there to be in that aquifer. That wasn't like an overnight thing. That's like my spring here on the farm. We get a heavy rain like we did, Sunday into Monday into yesterday. Like, I went down and checked the ram pump spring today. Water flow is the same as it was like Saturday after it was hot and dry. It's there, but it's not strong. It won't be strong for like 72 hours probably. I think it runs about 72 hours before it shows up in the aquifer here. And that spring isn't deep. That's a shallow aquifer. So, can you imagine what 1,000? Yeah, no way it's going back in. Exactly. And that's why they're ending up with sinkholes and, it's not a sustainable practice. Forget about regenerative. It's not even sustainable. And to keep doing that and not recognizing that's the thing, and we're seeing that all over in agriculture now. People's soils are crashing, their yields are dropping, they keep spraying glyphosate on them and wondering why they have a problem. And then on top of that, people are getting sick and cancer, and it's like we have an epidemic of multiple problems coming together at once. It's a good time to be a homesteader and self-resilient, self-reliant. It is an aquifer, nothing more. Yeah, they're doing that a lot. They're doing it all over the country. That whole aquifer in the middle of the United States is, I think there's only 60% of the water left in there, and most of that is actually kind of sailing because they've been irrigating so heavily, and it's reaching back down through with all those chemical fertilizer salts and going back into the aquifer. And so now the water in the aquifer isn't even great. Just a sandbar meant to provide water to Georgia and Alabama. Yeah, and then you guys had some of those algae blooms in the tides too that make people sick, right? I was reading an article about that. I think it was last year. They had changed the drainage system, and then that caused the problem. And then they were talking about how they were refusing to change the drainage system to a better system that would fix the problem. They said it would go back in. Doug, it's not fast enough. Yeah. Yeah, and then I think only 3% of the water on the planet is fresh water, and then of that, it's 5% of that is potable, drinkable fresh water. It's really a precious resource, and we're burning it in an unsustainable way. But we're doing that with a lot of things in the planet. Nature's pretty good at taking bad things out of the system. If we keep it up, nature's going to wipe us out, wipe ourselves out. So, oh right, the sugarcane plantations were part of that too. Sugar owns politics, so fish die. Same story around the country with that kind of crap. Every politician's in some company's back pocket. This is not a government of, by, and for the people anymore. This is of, by, and for the corporations. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know how we fix it, other than get money out of politics, but then that's complicated too. It's frustrating to watch. Yeah. Oh, they're doing reverse osmosis in sewage plants now. That I hadn't seen. We still have, like the local college here, Bard College, has a massive sewage processing facility. They dump it right into the freshwater stream that goes right into the Hudson Valley River estuary, which is a tidal river, one of the only freshwater tidal waterways in the entire planet. And they're just dumping raw sewage and urine and drugs that people excrete and whatever else they flush down the toilet straight into the stream. It's just like, you couldn't come up with something better than that? Really? That's your best? Yeah, me too, Kiki. I feel like it's hopeless to fix. I just want to go somewhere where that isn't the mentality. I had to go to town today to get some grocery stuff, and like I'm looking around and there's like all kinds of dumb stuff like that going on, and I'm just like, man, am I the only one here that thinks this is a weird world? like, I'm like, maybe I'm too old-fashioned. Maybe I just need to go somewhere and hide. That's just, man. Not their best, their cheapest. Well, it's not even the cheapest. Like, that facility wasn't cheap to build. You could do a reed bed that would actually purify that water completely for way cheaper. Like when I worked for the engineer, we did a job for a place called Common Fire locally here. It was like a common homesteading permaculture type gig. These guys did a really cool project. Like community housing, fresh grown produce on the property, like all this cool stuff they were doing. And they wanted to put reed beds in for their sewage treatment instead of the standard septic system with a septic field, septic tank, septic field. And they went to the zoning meetings. They proved that reed beds, right? They proved in the zoning meeting with scientific statistical data that the reed beds actually produce cleaner effluent, like down the list, much more efficient, so much better, and like environmentally friendly and like sensible, and like it's like duh. And the zoning board refused to approve it. They made them put in a standard septic system. It's just like, wait a minute, so this is better, but you're going to force this? I don't understand. Yeah, man, cattails and algae and biology, they clean all that crap up. It's just so it's so simple and basic. You look around in nature, look around where man has screwed stuff up. Come back in 20 or 30 years. Nature swallows it up and cleans it up. Like, she's the only one that cleans up after us. Plus, cattails are great for fire. That stem, you can start a fire with a drill, and the roots are edible. Super healthy. It is tough to get stuff like that approved, and that wasn't the only one. We had other jobs where people wanted to do reed beds and they wouldn't let them do it. Multiple different townships. I'm trying to think. I think there was one job out in Ankrum, which is a very small town, that they were able to get a reed bed approved. Do for a cleanup, yeah. I hear you, geeky. Yeah, it all comes down to money. It's a shame that ethics isn't really driving much in our society anymore. I mean, that's where all this other crazy stuff that's happening comes up. All the environmental disasters and catastrophes, increasing crazy storms, political unrest, it all comes back to that same thing. Like, I mean, it's almost like you could take that, like, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. money corrupts. Absolute money corrupts absolutely, right? And then the harder part of that equation is the only way to beat money is with more money. And so then you have to become compromised to beat it? Not a great solution. Yeah, money is power. Well, I mean, money, when you think about it, money really just comes down to, it's the equivalent of, piles of grain, piles of bread, like physical resources. That's part of the problem. Money didn't used to be something you could create, like just out of thin air, which it is now. It used to be like, I'll trade you so many shells for so many pieces of bread or so many beans or whatever. And so you couldn't accumulate this massive amount of resources and just store it all away and use it to make more of it without having to actually store it, without a shelf life on it, that kind of thing. And so now it's this like artificial thing, and so it drives things artificially, and it's artificially storable for forever. Theoretically, at least, until you have a crash economy. That's a whole nother topic. Yeah, I like the barter system too, Robin. I use a lot of that here, I have a lot of friends. We barter back and forth with each other, I'll help you do this if you help me do that. I'll trade you this if you trade me that. That works great. It, can't do everything anymore, but boy, it's a great supplement and option. Well, I suppose I should go get a few more things done out on the farm here. Very busy time of season for me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and close this live stream up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Robin. Oh, I'll probably be up all night. Oh yeah, Green Dream. I do a lot of my work at night actually, for the cooler nights, and I also I find in the daytime, every time I go out to work on a project or work on something, somebody will stop by, or a phone call, or work interrupts. So the nighttime, everybody else goes to bed, and I can go out and work and not be interrupted. So that was the initial driving thing. But also this time of year, when it gets hot in the daytime, it's nice to work. I work like afternoon, evening out on the farm stuff. Yeah, I'm a weird one. It makes for great on a homestead though, if you have a person who's up in the daytime and I'm up half the night. You have like 24-hour shift kind of thing going. Alright, good night Robin. Thanks for joining. Always great to see you. Glad you're healing up and feeling better. Geeky, thank you very much for coming in. Always appreciate your conversation. Yeah, no, I usually don't get up too early in the morning. That's true. Green Dream Project, thanks for coming in. I'm honored you came in. That's awesome. Always enjoy interacting with you guys and conversations and thoughts. I think we're all kindred spirits here. So thank you everyone for joining the live stream and watching. Rod T, if you're still there, I don't know where you went, but if you're still there, thanks for coming in. I hope you all have an excellent evening, and look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream. Have a great evening, everyone.